Without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce the keynote speaker, our CEO, our very own Jeremy Greenberg. Give him a hand, give him a hand. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. It's amazing seeing so many people. Some people wonder what's the story of Sellercloud. Where did this company come from? There's a stereotypical story about a business that was selling online and developed some of their own tools to help their own company sell, and then they decided to sell it online. Well, that's not our story. Sellercloud was started by a programmer who didn't sell anything online, but worked with companies that sell things online, one by one, each customer, understanding what their needs were and customizing it to their needs. With Sellercloud, I was able to build a single system that could be customized to be built off of by snapping in different customizations as they were needed. I think it's actually an advantage that the company was created this way, because instead of taking things from one person's perspective, one person's experience, I could take each experience and each perspective of all the individual customers and come up with what we have here today. It wouldn't be possible if it was just one experience or limited to one person. And it's also scalable because we have all the Sellercloud team that's here are able to interact with our customers, and it's something that we can keep on growing, gathering that feedback from our customers as our customer base grows. As far as the Sellercloud Connect name, well, that's exactly what it is. We brought you here to connect with you, because only through your feedback are we able to continue to grow this roadmap, to continue growing the system. So recently we traveled to a number of customers. We went to Miami, went to Los Angeles. Thankfully, I see actually some people from Los Angeles came here. We also went to Cleveland recently. And the real goal was to understand their clients' workflows, help them on site, but then also to get some testimonial videos, case studies for our website. Well, I was talking to one person I thought was a great candidate for a testimonial, and he said, no, he doesn't want to do it. So I asked him, why not? He loves Sellercloud, so why doesn't he want to do it? So he told me Sellercloud is his secret weapon. He doesn't want anyone to know that he uses Sellercloud. Well, I guess our marketing team has some work to do as far as getting that secret out, but I'm here to share that secret with you and make it your secret weapon and to give you an advantage over other companies that may not have Sellercloud, may not know about Sellercloud. But one person commented that they see a lot of marketing from other companies, but this is all about actually talking to our real customers, making sure they succeed, giving them the tools to help them improve their businesses. So where did it all start? So if you go back about 13, 14 years ago, it all started with helping people generate listings, getting their products available for sale. And gradually I started syncing inventory with various channels, updating orders, tracking, and after a couple of years, I noticed that not only were customers struggling to sort of get their product assortment online, but they're having sort of operational challenges. They need to generate shipping labels. So we created ShipBridge, and I believe there was a session about that already. We started adding purchase orders to the system so that people could receive their inventory against purchase orders, keep track of the cost of their product. And then we introduced SKU Stack, which gave people full control over their warehouse, every movement of inventory, tracking inventory by bin in the warehouse, and having a system to pick the orders. And we found that the more we got into the operational side of the business, the more value we were providing to our customers. And we continued. And the next thing, demand forecasting, predictive restocking, tracking which items you need to order from your vendors. And the list goes on. We introduced at our previous user conference SKU blocks. We have a lot of updates this afternoon on the SKU blocks topic, but SKU blocks has made a big difference as far as sorting the orders, giving a process to the employees in the warehouse. They could introduce new workers into the warehouse and get them in peak season and get them up and running within minutes instead of days as far as training them, and really getting thousands and thousands of orders out. As far as the lens, basically, once we realized we were amassing a tremendous amount of data, we have every movement of the items in the warehouse, we have all the sales data, we have all this data, we started moving into the business intelligence area, introducing the SKU Stack Lens. We also have updates related to the SKU Stack Lens, specifically right after lunch. 4D scale, tracking dimensions of an item, dimensional weight as far as shipping costs or a big issue for our customers. So we introduced a device to help them track those dimensions and save that information back into the system so they could have accurate weights of their items. Most recently, we've added ad management, and we actually have Walmart Connect here, and that'll also be in the afternoon. Ad management has become a bigger issue for our customers because some of our customers spend more money on ads than they do on shipping. It's a major expense, and tracking that expense back to the product and reporting on that. So we added a focus on that. Now, each of these products that we've developed, we develop a team around it. So it starts typically with one customer, one person developing it, and then we build a team around it and continuously improve. And most recently, also Orderback, which is a customer portal. A lot of our customers are moving in the direction of having their own websites, having their own relationship with their customers, where they want to give their customer an ability to reorder product, do exchanges, returns, and then also to whether it's product registration or warranty. So we've moved in that direction as well. So there'll be presentations about these things later on. But honestly, if I could have thought 14 years ago what my roadmap would be like, there's no way I would have ever come up with this. But it's only through interacting with customers and incrementally adding features and iterating through it, making improvements one thing at a time. That's the only way this happened. That's what we have here. It's really driven by the customer. Product updates. We have a lot of product updates that are going to be discussed after I'm finished speaking. But there are a few that I wanted to highlight that I pulled out of the other guys' presentations that I just wanted to touch on. Someone told me that 90% of all the feature requests that came in at the last user conference have already been updated in the system and they're available to people. I'm hoping that the same thing happens even from this morning, just talking to a few customers. I've already gathered some different ideas, but through a consensus of the customers, hopefully we'll have a lot to deliver next time. But we've also added recently a directory on our website of all the product updates, updated almost on a daily basis, so that as things are added on a regular basis, you don't have to wait till the next user conference. You can see those various updates. They're categorized by product, by topic, and just to be aware of that. So I wanted to highlight a few key features that I think are important. Now, usability. I'm sure everyone's familiar with our new user interface. It's now the standard interface of Sellercloud, which Delta, but we haven't stopped there. We're continuing to improve and update it. One of the key things that I thought was important in updating it is improving the searchability. Based on feedback from our customers, we've added the ability to do a wildcard search, which basically means you don't have to know exactly what you're searching for, and you can still get results, as you see over here. Similarly, we've added negative search filters. So even if you don't know what you're looking for, but you don't know what you're looking for, right? So over here, let's say you want to exclude a company or a channel. Yeah, negative filters, it's not a dating app, just to make it clear to everyone. Once you have these filters can be used in a saved view. They can be part of your workflow. You can use these filters to decide which products to go into a pick list, whether it's any type of scheduled job or whatever it may be. Another thing we've done is added notifications to the system. So you can send notifications to your team, whether it's to the ShipBridge devices, to SKUstack devices. In this example, someone's exporting orders. And sometimes, if let's say you're exporting 1 million orders, you have to wait a bit for the file to be ready. We've added an automatic notification to notify you when any queued job is ready. And you can download the file straight away or navigate to the details of the job. Similarly, we've added notifications to order note. So if you're writing an order note on an order and you want to tag another user, another person from your team, choose their name on a list, and they'll actually get a notification when they're using Sellercloud. In this example over here, you'll see someone else is logged in, and he'll see a notification that leads him back to that order. So if there's some work that needs to be done. Similarly, we've got feedback. Hey, could you give us the ability to pin a note to the top? Let's say there's tons of notes on the order. This is a real problem order. You could pin it to the top so that way people find it in the mix. Business intelligence. So I touched on it with SKUstack Lens. With SKUstack Lens, we really realized we were amassing a tremendous amount of data, And we were trying to think, how can we best use that data and show it to the customers? So initially with SKU blocks, as far as sorting, who sorted the most, if you see the blue over there, he sorted the most, what the sort rate is, what the average time it takes to sort orders, how many orders were sorted on a given day, all kinds of statistics like that. Similarly with SKU Lens, we added the ability to track movements in the warehouse. What is the focus of the movements in the warehouse? Is it that the orders are being picked? Is a lot of stuff being put away? Who's the top performer in the warehouse? What's various movements in the warehouse? And various statistics, so you can see all those things really at a glance, just by looking at it. So we've done the same thing we're introducing today, a lens for Sellercloud, the Sellercloud Lens, which basically means that we're going to be giving you the same type of reporting, the same type of tools to actually see these statistics about your orders. In this example, you could see where your orders are coming from. Now, some people might know that, where most of the orders are coming from, but maybe there's a spike in one particular channel. They could dig into that and look at that. Similarly with shipping, maybe things are not being delivered on time or shipped on time, and there's some type of anomaly. With this, you could easily zero in on that and look at those statistics. In this example, you could see refunds or returns. Don't worry, it's only test data. There aren't that many returns. Another area which I'd like to highlight is customization. Now, conventional wisdom when you're building software as a service like Sellercloud is that you want one size fits all. It's easier. They say it's more profitable maybe, but Sellercloud doesn't follow any of that conventional wisdom and that conventional thinking. And we're happy to develop a one-off solution for a single customer, even if nobody ever uses it again. Now, you may ask why. I'll tell you there are a lot of advantages to that. What it means is that as long as the customer thinks it's important to us, and we start developing it. By the time it's a trend and it's popular, we're already deep into the development process, and we can roll things out faster to our customers. It also means that if it's something that the customer thinks is important, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to know better than we're going to know. So we'll pretty much do anything that a customer asks, with one exception. I'll explain it with a story, but I had this one experience with a customer a few years ago where they asked me to do something, customization, and I told him it's really not a good idea. And he persisted and said, it's really important to me, and I said, it's really not a good idea, it's kind of dangerous, I don't know what's going to happen as a result of this customization. And he persisted, so I did it. Well, about a month later, he came to me and he's like, I can't believe you did that, it's terrible, look what it did to me, and this. And I said, but you told me to do it, and I warned you. So he says to me, you should have told me if you do that, you're an idiot. So basically, instead of calling anyone an idiot, basically, if I think it's dangerous, maybe we won't do it. But otherwise, we're happy to do customizations for our customers. And with this approach, our goal is to help every company succeed, and really, every customer has unique challenges, and we're happy to get very involved as partners. I use the word partner. We're not looking to take a percentage of your revenue or anything like that, but your success is our success. So with that, we've made a lot of improvements to the plugin frameworks. We have over 30 different types of plugins. Plugins are what they call a low-code customization, which basically means with a little bit of programming, we can sort of snap something in to behave in a unique way. So what we've tried to do is take the thousands of plugins that we've actually created and cataloged and create some repeatability from these plugins. The most popular plugins were, let's say, importing and exporting things in different formats. Post-order plugin, let's say, for dropship, if you want something to, let's say, ship from FBA, multi-channel fulfillment, or something like that. I see this person from Amazon is in the crowd here, comes to mind. But yeah, so another popular thing is as far as custom invoices. People have unique labels, they have unique invoices that they want to print, and that historically has required some custom programming specific to that need. So we've added what we call the import-export mapping tool, which lets the customer themselves customize those files. You can create your own format. You can name it yourself and whatever format you want, and you can add that into the system and utilize that together with the scheduled tasks and other features. Similarly, we have the order rules engine, which We continue to develop. I know it was introduced in the previous user conference, but we've taken it to the next level. And as we get feedback, we've taken all the most popular use cases that we've had with the plugins and made that configurable by the customer. Now, we're still open to doing plugins, but we're reserving the plugins for the most complicated and most unique instances, and then gradually they're percolating or gradually moving into these no-code solutions. So same as with the Word to PDF, we allow people to customize their invoices, their labels, and we've similarly worked with Zapier and Make.com to make a lot of these things available with no code. And one of the managers from the plugins is like, "What are you doing to me? My whole bread and butter is, our whole team is working on plugins. Why are you making all these no-code options?" You're sort of like cannibalizing the team. But everyone's very busy. There's plenty of plugin work to be done. But our goal is our customer success. If we could do something through one of these other tools and it's faster for the customer or less expensive for them, easier for them to adjust it, that's better for us. What I'm showing you over here is also taking the plugins themselves to the next level. It's something that we call the plugin wizard, which basically lets you, in a few steps, take care of something that would normally take hours. This is an example of a channel that's made up of multiple plugins. There's a plugin related to the orders, related to the inventory, the invoice, all customized to that particular channel. And it can all be managed from one interface where you can configure them all. So you just simply click on that gear and you can see all the related settings related to that, which ones are required, which ones are not required, what the options are, and even see the instructions for the plugin. We have over 15 channels that have already been available to use this wizard with. And basically, you hit that button to create a setting, and it just on the fly, it'll create the different options. The wizard will even create a company in your list of companies, for that channel. Over here, you see what we're doing is automating the integration. So this is very popular for, let's say, EDI integrations or non-standard integrations. So instead of it, being multiple places where you have to look, how's it working, how's it configured, it gives you a single place to look where you can see all the related tasks, all the configurations, all in one place. Similarly, we wanted to take it to the next level and give you one place to see all of your customizations. So right now, a person could have customizations related to orders, or could be related to inventory, it could be a report, various customizations. So we created like a directory of your customizations that you have installed, and that way it's easier to see everything in one place. And what we've done is also, this isn't released yet, but we're opening it up that any generic plugin, you'll be able to search the directory, which basically means that from the hundreds, we have about 10% of our plugins are marked as generic. A lot of them are proprietary, but anything that is generic is going to be available for people to read up about it and to install it and to be able to search it by name and see various details about that. Right now, you could see all the plugins that are installed on your own system. That's already available. Yeah, so by having all these things in one system, it makes a big difference because it means that all these things are going to work in harmony with each other. There's one team to talk to when you need to get something done, but make sure that one thing doesn't conflict with the other thing. And a better experience gets better results, I think. And our goal is really to grow your business. I really appreciate all of you coming here today. You're all here, you saved me a trip. But our goal is also, we have a lot of our staff here next week, a lot of our staff that's here to actually visit on site with our customers. Because even with you all here, we can gather your feedback, but we also recognize that we need to be on site in your warehouses to really truly understand your needs. So we have about 20 people that are going to be spending most of next week visiting customers. So if you want to be added to that list, please let us know, and we'd be happy to arrange that. Also, I wanted to take a moment before we go to the next speakers to thank the sponsors. Without their help, this wouldn't have materialized. There were a lot of people involved in planning the material, the developers who developed the solutions themselves, and continue to work on it. There's a lot of moving parts here, but without the sponsors, there's a lot involved in actually putting this show to work. Specifically, the silver sponsors, I don't have them on the board, but I'll see if I can remember all of them. There's Amazon, there's Walmart, there's Rebello, there's Back Market, and Stamps and Disha. I believe I covered them all, but there are also other sponsors and booths, and I encourage you to visit their booths and find out more. There are other updates immediately following. If you notice, most of the morning is focused really on Sellercloud without any distraction. We want you to gain a lot about the core product. In the afternoon, there's a lot of discussion about SKU Stack and some of the other products that enhance the full cycle of the workflow. Immediately following me, I believe, will be further product updates about Sellercloud. But thank you so much for coming, and I really appreciate it.